The future of Barcelona has already been decided. A boy born in a small Catalonian town raised in poverty, playing barefoot on the beaches of Mataró. Today, he's breaking records, humiliating Real Madrid, leading Spain to glory, and is the favourite for this season's Ballon d'Or, all before turning 18. His journey has been a whirlwind of obstacles, jaw-dropping performances, and moments that seem almost scripted. But there's one twist to his story that makes it truly unbelievable. And yet, as Yamal himself put it, I'm only just getting started. But how did this winger labelled as skinny and weak become one of the best players in the world at the age of 17? Does it have anything to do with a magic Messi touch when he was still just a baby, or through his only natural talent? Lamine Yamal's ascent to football greatness began far from the spotlight, on the gritty streets and beaches of Mataró, a working-class town northeast of Barcelona. Born on 13th July 2007 to Moroccan father Munir Nasraoui and Equatorial Guinean mother Sheila Abana, Yamal's multicultural roots shaped the identity he carries with pride today. His early years were marked by instability. His parents separated when he was around 3 years old, and Yamal split his time between his mother, who relocated to Granollers, and his father, who stayed in the neighbourhood. Despite adversity, young Yamal found refuge in football. He often kicked around in Rocafonda, an area stigmatised and forgotten, yet it became the wellspring of his early development. To honour his roots, he gestures 304 after scoring, a nod to the neighbourhood's postal code, a gesture now emblematic of Rocafonda pride. At age 4, he became a fixture at La Torreta, shuttling between two homes to train and play. By 6, Barcelona's scouts had noted his extraordinary ability and invited him to trial at La Masia. The move required Yamal to relocate and fully commit to the academy's renowned system, but within a few years, it became clear his potential was no ordinary talent. His rise through the ranks at La Masia was meteoric. By age 15, he was already training with Xavi's first team squad, a rarity that underscored both his technical maturity and mental composure. On 29th of April 2023, he made his official La Liga debut against Real Betis at just 15 years and 291 days, becoming the youngest Barcelona player in the league this century. He also became the youngest ever Barcelona player to start in the Champions League at 16 years and 83 days old. 2 weeks later, he scored his first Champions League goal, becoming the second youngest scorer in the competition's history. His record-breaking performances continued. On 26th October, Yamal became the youngest ever scorer in El Clasico, netting the third goal in a 4-0 win over Real Madrid. In April 2025, he became Barcelona's youngest ever player to reach 100 competitive appearances, marking the milestone with a goal in a Champions League semi-final against Inter Milan. But it wasn't just life at the club level. Internationally, Yamal made his debut with Spain's senior team at 16 years and 57 days old, becoming both the youngest player and goalscorer in the nation's history. At Euro 2024, he emerged as the tournament's youngest participant, youngest scorer, and posted 4 assists, tying a national record. On 29th April 2023, history was made at Camp Nou. With 83 minutes on the clock in a comfortable 4-0 win over Real Betis, Xavi Hernandez signalled for a substitution. Off came Gavi, on came Yamal, just 15 years and 291 days old. In that moment, Yamal became the youngest player ever to feature for Barcelona in La Liga's modern era, eclipsing a record that had stood for decades. It was more than just a debut. In his brief cameo, Yamal displayed a fearlessness that defied his age. He nearly set up Ousmane Dembélé with a clever through ball, pressed aggressively, and looked completely at home on a stage where legends have both risen and crumbled. Only months later, he celebrated his first senior trophy as part of the squad that clinched the 2022-23 La Liga title. His performances weren't just statistical quirks, they were decisive. Against Villarreal in August 2023, he delivered a man-of-the-match performance with an assist in a chaotic 4-3 victory, becoming the youngest player ever to be awarded the honour in La Liga. By the end of that season, he had also become the youngest player in La Liga history to score and assist in the same match, and the youngest to reach double-digit goal contributions in a single campaign. Yamal's rise extended beyond Spain. On 8th October 2024, at just 16 years and 83 days old, he became the youngest player ever to start a Champions League match for Barcelona. 2 weeks later, he scored his first Champions League goal, becoming the second youngest scorer in the competition's history, trailing only Youssoufa Moukoko. His European breakthrough was punctuated by a milestone in April 2025. His 100th competitive appearance for Barcelona, reached at just 17 years and 264 days. The match, a Champions League semi-final against Inter Milan, saw Yamal mark the occasion with a goal, underlining the sense that he wasn't just setting records, he was deciding big games. El Clasico heroics. The fixture that defines careers in Spain, El Clásico, has already become a personal playground for Yamal. In October 2024, he scored Barcelona's third goal in a 4-0 demolition of Real Madrid at the Santiago Bernabéu, making him the youngest scorer in the history of the rivalry. He would add more goal contributions in subsequent encounters, cementing himself as a big-game player in one of football's fiercest rivalries. While his club career accelerated, Yamal's international rise was even more dramatic. Called up to Spain's senior team in September 2023, he made his debut against Georgia at 16 years and 57 days, becoming the youngest player and goalscorer in Spain's history. The crowning moment came at Euro 2024. As the youngest player ever to feature in the tournament, he stunned the footballing world with a curling 25-yard strike against France in the semi-final. It wasn't just a goal, it was the goal of the tournament according to UEFA. He ended the Euros as the young player of the tournament, with 4 assists, tying a Spanish record, and 1 goal, helping Spain lift their first major trophy since Euro 2012. In 2025, Barcelona handed Yamal the iconic number 10 shirt, a number worn by Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, and most recently Lionel Messi. For many, it symbolised a passing of the torch. For Yamal, it was a challenge he embraced without making comparisons. "I don't compare myself with anyone, especially not Messi," he told ESPN. "I want to follow my own path." In just over 2 years, Yamal has gone from a wide-eyed teenager making a historic debut to a central figure for both club and country. His game combines the fearlessness of youth with the tactical maturity of a seasoned pro, a balance rare even among the game's elite. As he continues to break records, his journey is no longer just about potential. It's about fulfilling it in real time, week after week, in matches that matter most. The summer of 2024 was supposed to be a transitional one for Spain. No longer boasting the golden generation of Xavi, Iniesta and Busquets, the national team entered the European Championship with a youthful, untested squad. They were not among the pre-tournament favourites. France, England and Portugal all overshadowed them in the betting odds. But for 16-year-old, it was the perfect stage to announce himself to the world. When Luis de la Fuente named his final squad for Euro 2024, Yamal made history before even stepping onto the pitch. A couple of weeks before his 17th birthday, he became the youngest player ever selected for a European Championship. But this was no symbolic inclusion. De la Fuente intended to use him. From the first whistle of Spain's opener, Yamal was a starter. Spain's group featured tough opposition, but Yamal's composure was unshakable. He played all 3 matches, helping Spain to 3 wins without conceding a goal. His link-up play, quick dribbling and vision made him one of the tournament's most watched talents. Though his stats in the group were modest, his ability to destabilise defences and create space for teammates set the tone for Spain's tactical dominance. The round of 16 saw Spain face Georgia, a team buoyed by an underdog spirit. Yamal rose to the occasion, providing a key assist in a 4-1 victory. In the quarter-finals against Germany, the teenager once again turned creator, delivering another assist in a 2-1 win. 2 assists in 2 knockout matches, at 16, was unprecedented at this level. Then came the match that changed everything. Spain drew France in the semi-final, led by Kylian Mbappé and widely expected to reach the final. When France scored early through Randal Kolo Muani, the momentum seemed firmly in their favour. But in the 21st minute, the ball fell to Yamal about 25 yards from goal. He paused, shifted the ball onto his left foot, and unleashed a curling strike that bent around the outstretched fingertips of Mike Maignan and crashed off the post into the net. It was a stunning equaliser, later voted goal of the tournament by UEFA. Spain would go on to win 2-1, with Yamal playing a decisive role in both goals. The final pitted Spain against England, whose squad boasted Jude Bellingham, Harry Kane and Bukayo Saka. Once again, Yamal started, and once again he delivered. Early in the match, he received the ball on the right flank, beat his man and squared it perfectly for Spain's opener. His assist helped Spain to a 2-1 victory, securing their first major trophy since Euro 2012, hinting that they may have the next dominant generation on their hands. In a tournament stacked with established superstars, the teenager had stolen the spotlight. 4 assists and 1 unforgettable goal earned him the Young Player of the Tournament award, as well as a place in UEFA's official team of the tournament. A new symbol for Spain. Yamal's performances went beyond stats. His calmness under pressure, ability to dictate attacking play, and capacity to deliver in decisive moments made him a talisman for Spain's new generation. French daily Le Monde described him as the new symbol of Spanish football. For many fans, Yamal's story was a refreshing counterpoint to modern football's obsession with money and transfers. Here was a homegrown talent nurtured at La Masia, conquering Europe not with raw physicality, but with intelligence, technique and artistry. Returning to club football after Euro 2024, Yamal's confidence was sky high. With Ousmane Dembélé gone and Ansu Fati struggling for form, he had already cemented his place in Barcelona. For more on PSG's hero, click here. The momentum from his international triumph carried over, and he began the 2024-25 season with a flurry of goals and assists, proving that his Euro's brilliance was no one-off. At just 17, Yamal was no longer viewed as merely Barcelona's future. He was Barcelona's present, and one of the most talked-about players in world football. The 2024-25 season was billed as one of rebuilding for Barcelona. Financial limitations meant the club had to rely on a mix of La Masia graduates and shrewd signings, while rivals Real Madrid assembled a Galactico 2.0 squad featuring Kylian Mbappe, Jude Bellingham, Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo. On paper, Madrid looked untouchable, but they hadn't accounted for the unstoppable rise of 17-year-old Lamine Yamal. Yamal began the season in blistering form, carrying the confidence of his Euro 2024 heroics back into La Liga. In Barcelona's first 11 league games, he recorded 10 goal involvements, 5 goals and 5 assists, putting him among the league's top contributors despite his age. Manager Hansi Flick, who took over in the summer, made it clear that Yamal was now a foundational piece of his tactical system. Whether hugging the touchline to stretch defences or drifting inside to dictate play, Yamal's versatility gave Barcelona a cutting edge in matches they might otherwise have struggled to win. The first El Clasico of the season came in late October in Madrid. Madrid was 6 points behind Barcelona, but confident their star-studded lineup would close the gap. What followed was a statement performance from the Catalans, and from Yamal in particular. With Barcelona already leading, Yamal latched onto a through ball, skipped past Eduardo Camavinga, and drilled a low finish past Thibaut Courtois to make it 3-0. The goal made him the youngest scorer in El Clasico history at just 17 years and 105 days. Madrid fans thought that was a one-off. They were mistaken. Barcelona met Real Madrid twice more in cup finals, the Supercopa de España and the Copa del Rey, and won both. In the Supercopa final, Yamal assisted 1 goal and scored another in a 5-2 demolition. Weeks later, in the Copa del Rey final, he added 2 assists in a 3-2 win. Across 3 finals against Madrid in one season, Yamal registered 5 goal involvements, earning man of the match honours twice. Barcelona's European run that season was a mix of brilliance and heartbreak. After advancing past the quarter-finals for the first time since 2019, they faced Inter Milan in the semi-finals. The first leg in Spain ended 3-3, and Rafinha gave Barcelona hope in the second leg with a very late goal. Despite his heroics, defensive errors cost them, and they lost 7-6 on aggregate. Even in defeat, Yamal's performance was widely praised. Italian coach Simone Inzaghi called him a phenomenon who could define the next decade of European football. The decisive moment in the league came in early May with another El Clasico, this time at Camp Nou. With Barcelona 3 points ahead, a loss could have reopened the title race. Yamal, as he had all season, delivered under pressure, scoring a crucial goal in a 4-3 victory that all but sealed the championship. Barcelona went on to win La Liga, with Yamal finishing the campaign with 15 goals and 18 assists across all competitions. By season's end, the conversation had shifted. No longer was Yamal discussed purely as the best young player in the world. Pundits were openly debating whether he could win the Ballon d'Or as a teenager. His combination of individual brilliance, big game performances and silverware made him a legitimate contender. This time around, he is already the favourite for the coveted award. No teenager had been this close to winning football's most prestigious individual prize since Pellé's era.